Good evening, I'm Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange Live. Tonight, this is a show not just for the ladies, a show about inspiration. All those young Kenyans who have no hope, little hope, or don't think you can make it to the top of your game. Tonight, we have a young man, 24 years old, who's taken an entire nation by storm. I tell you, this is one show you simply will not forget. And oh yes, you know what time it is. It's time to ask the hard questions. It is time for Jeff Koinange Live. So picture this, in America, everyone who wants to play American football, many of you may have heard of it or not, but guess what? Only 1% of Americans get to play that game. 1% of 300 plus million people. Out of that 1%, 99.99999% are American. The rest are like my guest. Translation, few and far between. But that is not even the story, because this young man started off playing rugby, Strathmore, Harlequins, went down to South Africa, played for the Sharks, the Vodacom Blue Bulls, played for the Kings, went over to New Zealand, played some more rugby there in the Rugby Nation, and then some scouts discovered him in America and flew him there. He was 23 years old. They were experimenting, if you will. And by the time he went through the rigorous exercises, they had already selected him for the first team in his first year, for someone who hadn't even played this sport all his life. He did play with the Indianapolis Colts his first season, and they went all the way through to the playoffs, nearly got to the Super Bowl. I say again, in his first year. Drum Magazine, I gotta give them a little plug. Lovely article by Carol O'Dara, talking about my guest. He's 24 years old. His Twitter handle is at Daniel Adongo 7. Mine is at Koinange Jeff. And just for the ladies, before we introduce the man, this is what he looks like when he's in the training field. Oh my, oh my. Don't forget the hashtag JKL, Daniel Adongo.
That's a good intro.
You like that?
I love that.
No script, my brother. It's all here.
Perfect.
My man.
You know.
Listen, congratulations, man. And I got to show the audience this shirt, man, because this is what people who watch the NFL see on that field, right?
Yeah.
Number 56 with Adongo on it.
Yeah.
Or the Americans probably say Adongo.
They have an accent to it.
This is amazing, my brother. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, for a Kenyan to have accomplished that, first of all, at 23 years old, the possibility of a Kenyan or African or any athlete making it to the NFL at 23 is slim to none.
Yeah.
Am I right?
That's correct. I mean, you know, the chance of that happening is once in a lifetime, and you know, just an opportunity in itself to go do that is very slim. So taking that opportunity and making it work for you is what matters most, you know, being productive.
Yeah. Take me back, Daniel. So, you're in Strathmore. You got to give Strathmore a little plug here. You play for Strathmore.
I played for Strathmore.
All right. And what position?
I was a winger back then.
Did you know that rugby was your thing? I mean, were you good back then?
I was pretty good at rugby. I'd grown up watching my brother play. You know, he mentored me. You know, I was a bit out of shape and out of sorts at some points. And, you know, he got me in, made me do a few workouts in the house, a few squats here and there, got my body pretty conditioned, you know, good for the season, and then I was able to excel after that. Yeah.
So from Strathmore, you played a bit for Queens, didn't you?
I did.
You played, what was it, Preston?
I played in the floodlight tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played one game, and then it was pretty interesting, you know, playing with grown men. I was 17 at the time.
You were a little guy.
I was a little guy, not little in stature, but little in age, but you know, I was able to mingle and hold my own among the men.
And in the meantime, you applied to the Sharks Academy.
This is
right
true.
in Durban, in Natal.
In Durban, yeah.
Correct. And they accepted you.
They accepted me.
So you arrive in Durban, where rugby is religion down there.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, you know, I'm turning 17. the world is in front of me, so I have to, it's a harsh world, harsh conditions, so I have to be a man, But I told myself, instead of being a man, let me be an example to myself. If I'm an example to myself, that means the choices that I make and decisions that I make will be well thought, and they'll be wise, and they'll lead me to success.
Was it tough?
It was tough. It was arduous. I mean, it was painful. It was it's not paved with gold. The road to success is not paved with gold, and it's not for the weak and uncommitted. You've got to be committed. Every day I would wake up, I would want to grind, because those boys have been doing that since they were 4 years old. Their grandpas have been doing it, so it's heritage and culture and all these things embroiled in them from an early age. So I was competing against this, so I had to go at the extra mile.
So, and eventually you ended up with the Sharks first team.
Yeah.
First team.
Yeah.
What did they think of this Kenyan guy, guy from up north?
Well, when I got there, I was pretty athletic. I was raw talent. I had to refine my skills, and they had already mentioned this to me, that I could go all the way. It's just a small little things that I had to work on in terms of skills and understanding the game, understanding the style of rugby that they played. You have to play with structure, you have to play with poise, not just get the ball and run wild.
That's right. It's not individuality, right?
Exactly, and that's what I was used to. That's how I used to express myself, and building myself up to these standards took some time. So it was painful.
Yeah.
Hours spent in the gym.
Yeah.
From time to time not getting picked, but pain is only temporary. It might last an hour or a minute or a year, but it definitely subsides, and it gives way to success.
So you show up your first game out there, and the crowds, I mean, it's not like a Impala floodlit game, where there's like 5,000-6,000 people.
Yeah.
You have 50,000-60,000 people.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It's crazy. I mean, it's electric. The atmosphere in itself just elevates your game to another level, but you're able to tune that out, but also feed from it. And in that, you're able to produce, and play so much better than you actually thought. The adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah. Were you nervous though?
My first game, I tried to kill the nerves. I wouldn't lie, I was nervous. But once the whistle blew and I was out there on the 4 white lines, I just did what I had to do, because I'd prepared well.
And you played winger.
I played winger, but when I was in South Africa, they changed my position. I started playing as a forward. I played lock and loose forward, and so it was another transition yet again. So I'm used to transitioning.
Yes.
I'm used to that adapt or die type of culture.
Yeah, man, where'd you get this attitude, man? I mean, never say die.
Never say die.
Right.
Never say die.
Okay. The other rugby sensation we had in our time, because I'm twice your age, by the way. Yeah?
Okay. You don't even look
I'm
it.
48, bro.
Wow.
But that's another story. So in our time, there's a guy, and I hope he's watching. His name is Edward Rombo.
Yeah.
He used to call him Eddie the Eagle.
That name rings a bell.
Yeah.
I know him as the first professional rugby player from Kenya to play in the UK.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to emulate that and be like him. So.
And you did, Daniel, because after the Sharks, you went on to the Blue Bulls.
Yeah.
And, Blue Bulls is blue blood, if you will.
Yeah, blood.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're in Pretoria, if you're in the nation's capital down there, they think, eat, read, sleep rugby.
Yeah, that is the culture there. That is what they do for a living, is rugby. That's the team that they support. And these are die-hard fans in terms of fanatics. These people are fanatical about the game. That they embody the definition of what a fanatic is.
Absolutely.
And as I said, that type of pressure, it can get to you. But as I said, you prepare well, you'll be okay.
Yeah. Before we go on, let me just read Kavoy Miner's tweet, because the tweets are coming in already, man. It says, "Woo-wee! My son is watching and I'm trying to keep my mouth closed. Those washboard abs, oh my, oh my." It's going to be that kind of night, my brother.
Okay. I'm well prepared. Yeah.
Were you discouraged at all when you were playing for the Bulls? Because like you say, if you don't play well, the crowd will turn on you, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah. I was fortunate enough for the first game that I played, during the pre-Super Rugby games. I was fortunate enough to play very well. I scored 3 tries. And, after that,
you scored how many tries?
3 tries, a hat-trick.
Look at that.
So I was very fortunate. I prepared well. I pushed my body to the limits. I studied the game. I I was mentally prepared physically and spiritually, so I was good to go.
Yeah. Okay. Viewers are probably wondering right now, what is it that mentally prepares you? You keep saying you got to be mentally prepared, physically prepared. How do you do that?
Well, basically taking yourself away from distractions, from an environment that's not conducive to success. You can't be arguing with people. You can't be angry. You can't not eat right. Your nutrition has to be correct. You can't expose yourself to things that are negative. That affects your mental well-being. Heading up to a game. Even fighting with your girlfriend or your spouse, that will affect your performance.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of energy is spent on that. So you have to be able to create this environment around you that is conducive, that will allow you to be successful. It's like a blueprint, your blueprint to success.
Yeah. Danny, I want to jump all the way to the NFL because this is the focus. I mean, people are wondering, I'm sure we'll come back to rugby in South Africa and New Zealand. But when you showed up in Indianapolis, Indiana, after they recruited you, they literally, on the net or whatever, through agents, they recruited you out of a whole bunch of people, right?
Yeah.
And they selected you. How did that go?
It went well. I mean, I flew down, 16-hour flight. I just come off a heavy season with the Kings Super Rugby, and I was supposed to do a workout. This is a 40-yard dash, a vertical, and a broad jump, and different things, just to see athletic ability and football skill, football knowledge. So they were good enough to me to adapt my workouts for them to see my athletic ability and some of my rugby skills.
Were you intimidated?
I had to suppress that, as I said again. Flying down there, I was like, oh my word,
Yeah. What am I gonna confront when I get there?
Exactly. But,
was that tough?
You have to be able to remove yourself from the situation so that you can have nerves of steel.
But someone like you, Daniel, you had never played this game before.
Yeah.
You show up, people are wearing padding, which you didn't even know how to put on.
Yeah.
They've got shirts twice ordinary people's size.
Yeah.
Right? Was that intimidating? Because
I mean, being fearful will lead you to not try. It will make you, not want to try or not want to do things. But that fear will also limit you, and you always ask yourself, what if?
Sure, we're seeing pictures of you right now with that Indiana Colts shirt and everything. Look at that, man. I mean, when you see those pictures in your first ever year playing American football, is that humbling, or do you have to pinch yourself to remind yourself where you are?
Well, it's humbling, and I wake up every day in the morning and I thank God because, as you mentioned, 1% of America plays that sport, and I'm not even American, so 99.9% of them want to play, but I'm not even, part of them. So I'm fortunate enough, but with that, it goes back to what I always say. The harder you train, the luckier you get on the field.
This is not luck, my brother, believe me.
So,
luck has nothing to do with this. But let me ask you this. So they recruited you with the hopes that you would be playing 2-3 years down the line. That was the whole point, right?
That was the whole point.
You weren't supposed to play the first season.
My first season, I wasn't supposed to see the field.
And then?
And then, things happened which paved the way for me to play. And I took that opportunity. As again I said, the preparation determines the outcome.
I think you're being modest, my brother, because I read somewhere that you used to train 2 hours before anyone showed up. You used to train with the team and then stay another 2 hours after they had left.
Yeah.
Monday to Monday.
Yeah. Basically that's what I used to do, because I know, success is not easy. If it was, then everybody would be able to do it, attain it.
Yeah.
And, everyone wants to shine like a diamond, but no one wants to go through that process to be sharpened like a diamond. So
that's deep, man. That's deep. And they say you gained 30 pounds and all that?
I gained 30 pounds.
So now I'm not sure the ladies are screaming in their homes and they're wondering, this man is what, something like 6'5"?
6'5" and 3/4.
Give or take?
Give or take.
And 270 pounds.
That's correct.
Of pure muscle.
Yeah. There's some fat.
Oh my, what my. And you have to maintain this every single day, don't you?
I do.
Is it tough?
Well, I should be asking you that. You're in pretty good nick.
I'm 48, man. I can't do this anymore, man.
You're in pretty good nick for a 48-year-old. So, you should be the one handing out tips right now.
Yeah, exactly. Once upon a time, man, I was like that.
Yeah. So I mean, every day it's a battle, because I want to be like everybody else. I want to eat cakes. I have these cravings to eat cakes, candy, and all that type of stuff, and just, you know, have a good time. But I know that I have to sacrifice a lot of things in order for my ultimate goal, which is to be great and to leave a legacy that will inspire and lead people to success.
Daniel, I want to talk more about that after the break. And also your very first game in the NFL.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, we're talking 50, 60,000 in Pretoria. Here we're talking millions watching on TV in the US. What was that first game like? And also, I understand you're a big fan of Rudyard Kipling.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Damn, man. Brains and brawn. Kenyans take note. Number 56 has just paid his notice. Next time you watch any football game in America on the NFL, look out for the Cleveland Colts' number 56, Daniel Adongo from Kenya. How about that? Young man, 24 years old, 6'5", 3/4", 270 pounds. Wow. And he's representing. Anybody who wants to get inspired, this is the show. If you're not watching, call them. You need to hear about this young man who's made it to the top of the top of the top. Jeff Koinange live, coming to you from the Terrace Restaurant of the Intercontinental Hotel. Keep those tweets coming at Daniel Adongo 7, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag is JKL. Let's keep tweeting. We'll read them on there. We'll keep talking to Daniel after this break. Back in a moment. Good stuff, my brother. Good
Thanks,
stuff.
man.
Good. And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live from the Terrace Restaurant of the Intercontinental Hotel. I tell you, what a story. Not just is it inspiring, it gives us so much hope. Daniel Adongo is on the cover on this month's Drum magazine. I gotta show you this picture again because this one has got Twitter in a tiffy. Or tissy. Oh my, why? Daniel Adongo, 270 pounds, 6'5" 3/4. I gotta read this tweet, man. You know, a guy called Hans Aroni. He says, am I the only one that thought Dan is a guy from the Indian police when I first heard him in the media? I guess Indianapolis is a tough thing to pronounce sometimes, huh?
It seems so. It seems so, Mr. Hans Aroni.
But, you know, look, that first game, I was asking you before the break, the first game playing in the Colts Stadium, I don't know what it's called, but you know, in the Colts Stadium, home game. Yeah. What was that like?
It's, as I said, you know, it makes running out of that tunnel, walking down that tunnel, as it may be, it leaves, you know, the hairs on the back of your neck standing up, and the emotions, I can't even describe them to you because it's exhilarating. There's an adrenaline rush, but all that said, there's still a job to do out on the field. And if your emotions are all over the place, then your decision making is affected. You have a duty to perform for the team. You have a duty. You know, you've been given a task, so you have to handle your task because everyone else is relying on you. You know, it's like a well-oiled machine. So if you're not functioning right, then it affects everybody around you. Which
brings me to my next question, Daniel, and that is, you play a position called outside linebacker.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Basically, you know, in layman's terms, I have to get to the quarterback and prevent him from throwing the ball.
So you're the guy who's going to knock him over.
That's my job.
Sack him, they call him.
Yes.
That's your job.
That's my job.
Have you gotten any sacks? Did you get sacks?
I haven't got any sacks.
Because, I mean, it's tough, right? Because he's protected, he's got his line, and you're trying to go get through that line to get to him.
Yeah. You know, I mean, he's well protected. He's like, you know, the president of any country. He's got 6'7", 6'8", 350, 320 pound behemoths, you know, protecting him and covering his back. But, you know, that's where I come in, and the rest of the guys in my position in the league is that, you know, they have the ability to get to him regardless of there being such good protection or such coverage for him.
Yeah. You just mentioned those sizes and weights. When people look at you in America, I mean, people here are going crazy looking at your body, looking at your size and everything. In America or on that field, are you like a regular guy?
I wouldn't say I'm a regular guy because I don't think anyone on that field is regular. In the National Football League, no one is regular. You know, in each position, everybody has a specific talent that got him there. So there's no regular person. Everyone is irregular,
Yeah.
if I can say
But okay,
that.
what about size-wise? I mean, your weight and your size.
Size-wise, I'll speak for myself. I'm fortunate enough to have, a combination of speed and power in size. So, I was gifted with that. So I'm very lucky and fortunate to have that, that combination.
Yeah. So the story I was saying earlier on that I read about you is putting on those pads was a chore.
It was arduous because I didn't know what I was doing. So I had to go to our equipment guys. The Colts is a family, and everyone there helps each other. So my teammates helped me, and the guys in the equipment room. Everyone was more than willing to lend a hand and go above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that I had everything and I knew where I was supposed to be and what time. So, very family based.
Yeah. Indianapolis Colts made it through to the playoffs.
Yeah.
What was that like?
As I said, first time playing football, first goal. I'm fortunate enough to be in the playoffs. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the National Football League is basically, probably the epitome of sports in the world. The world comes to a standstill when it's Super Bowl time.
Yeah. Even here.
Yep. It's worldwide. So I'm fortunate enough because at the moment I consider myself an ambassador for, the Colts when I'm down here, and I'm an ambassador for Kenya and Africa when I'm down there.
Yeah.
So I have to prepare myself and carry myself and present myself as such.
Yeah. There was someone who was tweeting, I don't know who someone was asking, what do you eat?
I have so many different meals. I have 3 main meals and 8 different meals in between. So I'm eating quite a lot during the day. I try to keep it, try to eat clean, a lot of raw foods. It depends on where I'm at in the season, whether I want to put on weight. So it can change from time to time.
Yeah. They say, you were saying you miss your mother's cooking when you're out there.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
I do miss my mother's cooking.
Yeah. Little gali.
That is
skooma,
skooma,
and some rech.
But that's she can cook that pretty well. But there's other meals that she's very good at.
Really?
I haven't had a bad meal, since the day I was in diapers. So, thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. So you obviously you praise your brother a lot. There's just 2 of you in the family, right?
There's just 2 of us.
And you say he's your hero. He's your role model.
He's my role model. He's my mentor. He's been one of the reasons why I've been so successful. I mean, going forward and looking back at my rugby career from high school up to now, he's been one of the important keys to my success. So thanks to him, Daniel Adongo.
Oh, Leon, all right, well done. Back in Strathmore, you used to play against the likes of Biko Adema.
That's correct.
What was that like? I mean, was he as good then as he is?
He was pretty good. He was revered. He was feared.
Yeah.
And he was a good opponent to gauge yourself in terms of where you were at, because he was able to control the team. He was a maestro like a Cristiano Ronaldo. So he was very mercurial in the way he carried himself on and off the field. He's a very talented player.
So a lot of people are asking if you were to play for the 7th team, because you have speed, you have size, you have agility. If you were to, do you watch them, by the way? Do you watch the
I do watch the 7th team. I do follow them.
What do you think, man?
As I said, they're very good. They're athletes, and with this new season, people should be patient because the results will come. We're not building for short-term success. We're building for prolonged longevity and long-term success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you play at some point, or would you have wanted to play? Because now, it's out of the question. You're making, 35 million in the year. I'm not saying, but would you have wanted to play?
Growing up, who doesn't? Who in the rugby fraternity, growing up in high school from an early age, doesn't want to play for the Kenya Sevens team? Back then, I remember the Benjamin Ayimbas of this world, wanting to play like him and do the same things he did. Emulate the same feats he did on the field.
Absolutely. As you say, this team needs patience.
Yeah.
And we will get back up there, because there was a point. I mean, we've had a couple of good seasons, a couple of down seasons.
Yeah.
But this team is talented, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are there other Daniel Adongos out there?
Definitely. I feel that there's a lot of people out there that are just waiting to be discovered. I think Kenya alone is a hub for athletic talent. And as I said, my success is not just my individual success, but a shared success among the community. In that people will come now looking for the next Daniel Adongo, And that's why I said I'm under magnifying glass, and I shall carry myself and present myself, in accordance to how I want to be viewed and how I want others to be viewed.
And you're doing that very well, my brother, because everyone's claiming you right now. Nico Rex M says, Adongo is the cousin of my aunt's aunt related to Lupita, who is Kuzo of my granny.
Wow. Wow.
Everybody wants a piece
I didn't
of you.
know my heritage was, we share the same bloodline with Lupita.
There you go. What do you
Okay.
think of Lupita's success, by the way?
I think, from looking back in time, she did Sugar. I was in South Africa, and then I came back. I watched Sugar. I think it was very good, and I think that at that time there was not so much support for Lupita, because I feel like we could have supported her much more, in that she carried herself. She did very well. And at the moment, she's reached even higher. Now everyone's coming out of the woodwork and saying, "Oh my, Lupita,
That's right.
this, Lupita."
Do you
that.
get the same thing, Daniel? Do you get the same? I mean, I'm sure you were walking around for quite a while and people didn't know who you were.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean,
Are you used to that?
I'm used to that. I carry myself. I don't change my blueprint for success. I'm not going to change my habits that got me there. So if I have to walk on the street, I have to walk on the street. If I have to ride a matatu, I ride a matatu. That's just the way it is.
You just need like 3 seats, right?
Just 3 seats, just to myself.
Tinks Wanja says, true definition of tall, dark, and handsome. You must get a lot of this, my brother.
Fair enough, I do. But as I said, I have to stay grounded.
That's good, man. That's good. There's so many tweets. I tell you, people are just going crazy. Ruby Nguma says, the packs, that's the spirit old athletes should adopt. Big up for going that extra mile. Do you mind sharing your diet? You already did that, but that's good, okay? Everybody wants to shine like a diamond, Abraham Wenda says, but nobody wants to go through the sweat to be like that diamond. Great quote from you. The other thing you quote often is Rudyard Kipling.
Yeah.
Who's that? No, I'm kidding. Go on. Give us one poem.
Well, which part?
Any part, any part.
It says, if you're able, okay, I'll dilute it. If you're able to handle yourself properly and accurately, at the end it says, then you'll be a man. So I'll dilute the poem. Basically, as I said, if you're able to structure yourself and handle everything around you, when the walls are crashing down, there's a lot of arduous things, and your friends leave you. He mentions when your friends leave you and everything is just a mess, and you understand that things do change, then to you, my son, you become a man. Yeah.
Wow, that's deep, man. That's deep. Brains and brawn, my brother.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that more after the break. And also, how many years do you think you have in the NFL? You obviously started it very late. You started off very late at 23. How many years do you think you're going to give it? Think about that answer. Also, coming back, what would you want to do? I know you have some plans for the future once you come back, when you come back.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about that.
Okay.
At Daniel Adongo 7, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag is JKL. Keep those tweets coming, folks, because today on JKL, that's what we're doing, is inspiring the next generation of Kenyans. Whether it's in the arts, whether it's in sports, whether it's in whatever it is you're doing, it's time to inspire that next generation. Jeff Koinange live from the terrace restaurant of the Intercontinental Hotel with the man himself, Daniel Adongo. We'll be back in a moment. You're going to go all the way, aren't you?
Definitely.
Huh?
I mean, why would I dedicate my whole life and my time and my effort if I don't want to be great and I don't want our team to be successful?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone who's in the Colts family wants us to go to the Super Bowl. Everyone we inclined to do the same thing. All our thoughts and energies are aligned to lifting that Lombardi trophy.
Sure, Lombardi, Vince Lombardi. Listen, your folks, what did they think of this drastic move you made from rugby, which you were amazing at, to something you had no clue about? What did they think?
Well, I'd already started building a support base and building my name in rugby, so why take that stability away and try your hand at another sport which you've never played never engaged yourself in and you know very little about. So they were supportive because I've made decisions like this before based on my gut and how I feel, and I know that whenever a challenge is presented in front of me, you know, I hate losing more than I love winning. So just that fact, that drives me more. You know, it drives me to be more successful and to chase greatness.
Yeah.
So they were supportive.
Sure. That's good of them, because there are a lot of parents out there who discourage their kids. I was asking Lupita's dad here last week, and he says he let her run with the ball. He let her do what she was born to do.
Yeah. I mean, you have to find out what you're good at doing at an early age and stick to that, because everyone has a gift and a talent. But sometimes, you know, some of us are too gifted that, you know, our talents, we let that blind us and we don't work and you don't have the heart for it. The hungry dog will always eat. The guy who has a heart and is ready to outwork everybody else will actually be the most successful.
Have you always been this hungry, Daniel?
Always. You know, from an early age. I remember, you know, going to Strathmore, I used to wear these ankle weights to school, to class, because I wanted to better myself, and I used to play around with them, you know. So the teachers would ask, why are your ankles so swollen? And I was just like, you know, I'm wearing ankle weights because I want to become better at sports, get faster, or, you know, so you know, I used to go the mile.
Wow.
The distance.
Wow, that's fantastic, man. Look, a lot of people are asking about advice for young people, right?
Yeah.
James Sifuna says Adongo is a real model for youth, got discipline. Question: what kills talent like his in Kenya? And your advice to the youth. What kills talent? Is it people who just give up?
That's one aspect, but in the setup that we're in, it's more academic based, and I'm not saying academics doesn't tie hand in hand with sport, because both of them work synergetically. For you to be good at one, you have to be good at the other, because the same discipline is required in either. So, you know, I think parents should be supportive, because, as I said, you know, everyone has a different gift. Not everyone is going to be a doctor. Not everyone's going to be a lawyer. Some people are born to run. Some people are born to play, you know, whatever sports it is. Some people, you know, like yourself, are good at speaking and anchoring and doing all these good things.
Took a lot of years.
Exactly. So, you know, you can attest to finding your talent at an early age and going with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Advice for youth.
My advice to the youth is find what you're good at an early age and fight to keep that desire and that burning edge, and always try to get better, because, you know, you might be good at it now, but you want to be great. You want to be phenomenal. So you're not phenomenal if you're not making adjustments to get there. The version that you are now is not the version you're going to be at the end, and that's phenomenal. That's greatness.
Yeah. You're also very religious, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
It's good. Catholic?
Catholic.
My man. The Cool is saying, if Daniel Adongo spikes his own drink at a club, everyone in the club apologizes to him. It's one of those Chuck Norris things, you know?
I know.
It's a spin-off from Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris can slam a revolving door.
Like that. Okay, lots of tweets coming in. If he plans to introduce American football in Kenya, there are many Kenyans like him who got the wheel. This is Peter.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Could that work in a place like here?
That's definitely what I want to do. You know, one of the things that I'm working tirelessly at, you know, I dream big but start small, is, you know, starting a foundation, you know, to get the youth involved, to, you know, pluck talent and nurture that talent, that sporting prowess, and take it to the next level. And the other thing, which is going hand in hand with that, is, you know, bringing American football to Kenya. You know, that's going to be very big. But as I said, that's tied hand in hand with my success in the National Football League.
Yeah. Because your position is not guaranteed this year, right?
Exactly.
You'll have to fight for it.
You know, I have to fight for it, and I'm more than willing to do that. But as I said, you know, when I'm successful, you know, my successes are shared by the Kenyan community and Africa as a whole.
Yeah. You ever been injured in a game? And touch wood, you know, ever been injured even in rugby?
I've been injured in rugby. I've had a knee injury, a shoulder injury, and, you know, both have required surgery. But as I said, you know, I push my body to the extreme, and I really believe, like, if you take, for example, the Tibetan monks who were able to, you know, withstand, you know, a sword punching through the skin or whatever. It's just mental. This is a mental game, and it's a game of choices. Yeah. You make the right choice, and everything will go your way.
Absolutely. Liet Oyengo says, Kenya is a nation of firsts. in Africa. Adongo, Lupita, Obama, Mariga, Mugubi, Oliech, et al.
Yeah.
How does it feel being grouped in a class like that?
You know, that group of gentlemen and women and ladies, excuse me, Lupita, ladies, you know, it's great to be grouped in the same sentence as these people, or even, you know, regarded as highly as these athletes and these, you know, national figures.
Yeah. When you were growing up, Daniel, what did you tell yourself or your folks? What do you tell them? This is what I want to be when I grow up. What were your goals and plans?
As I said, I told my dad. I went to him, you know, when I was in Form 4, and I said, "Dad, I want to be a professional rugby player." And he said, you know, he looked at me and, you know, he said, "Okay, get the academics tied in first, get good grades, and then we'll go ahead and do this." And, you know, I went on the side and applied to the Sharks Academy, and, you know, things took off from there.
Yeah. George Obuluta is saying, "Jeff, please give more airtime to inspirational chaps like Adongo, not Dwale and the pesky socialites." Guess you can't please everybody in this medium, can you? You see what you created now? They want more of you.
Well, I'm here to inspire.
The fact, Okulo Jr. says, "I like the fact that he is so humble. You can't even sense the accent. And of course the humility as well, Daniel. Where does that come from? Is that upbringing? Is that the folks who instilled that in you?"
I think that's my parents, you know, humility, you know, it's also a virtue given from you by God. And also you have to understand that, you know, being where you are, it can be taken away at any time. You take that for granted, or you toot your own horn and you forget what got you there, then, you know, you can bring yourself back to earth very quickly.
When you're feeling down, when you're feeling that you don't want to work out, you don't want to lift those 500 pounds, whatever it is that you lift, what keeps you going?
What keeps me going? What keeps me going is the fact that, you know, I'm chasing greatness. And as I said, you know, greatness is not for the weak and uncommitted. You've got to be committed. And also, you know, the fact that I want to keep my job.
That's a good incentive. Victor MK says, "That guy is pure brain, brawn, and very positive about life. Who inspires him?"
Who inspires me? There's a lot of people that inspire me, you know, from my parents to my brother to the people that, you know, I come into contact with every day. As I said, I try to keep myself in a bubble and try to create an environment that will be conducive for long-term success. So, you know, involving myself with people like you is going to, you know, elevate and accelerate even more, because, you know, if you take, for example, for yourself, you know the journey, you know the road that got you here. So, you know, just getting information about and exchanging ideas about how you got here, and, you know, giving advice, that would be good.
By the way, I get inspired by 24-year-olds as well. You inspire me too, my brother. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Honestly.
Thank you.
Ben Kitili. Ben, aren't you getting ready for the news? Aren't you supposed to be? Anyway, Ben is asking, ask Adongo how he plays in a game that stops after every 30 seconds. Isn't it boring compared to rugby?
Oh, no, it's not. I mean, just imagine, you know, rugby is more like an endurance and power sport, and this is purely power. Just imagine yourself being an 100-meter sprinter and being asked every 5 minutes to do a 100-meter sprint at your best. You know, it's tiring, it's arduous, it's tiring on your body, so it's exciting.
You enjoy it, don't you?
I enjoy it. I love it.
Would you go back to rugby?
As I said, my duty now is to the Colts, and I love my family, the Indianapolis Colts. So I wanna build myself up for them at the moment.
My man, good answer. The pay must be good. Nutie's Bun is saying, ask Adongo, what would you be doing in life if it weren't for American football?
What would I be doing? I always wanted to study medicine, sports medicine, you know, go into something to do with sports, maybe be a surgeon. Or I really like the nutrition aspect of it, so I would definitely want to do something with medicine and sports.
Yeah. Roxy D says, wow, I love this guy, so focused, humble, straight, manly. Kudos to Adongo. I'm telling you, man, you're inspiring a whole nation. And look, did you think, growing up, and there's no way you could have thought that you would end up where you are? Maybe, oh, by the way, the other thing that people may not know is the Springboks were chasing after you. Well, the South African national team.
Yeah. Well, as I said, you know, when I left for South Africa, I knew South Africa was a world force in rugby, so I did want to play at the highest level of rugby. And when the opportunity presented itself, I had to build myself from the ground up. I wasn't always as good as everybody else, but I worked harder than everyone else and prepared myself as such.
And they liked you.
And they liked me. They loved me.
And that speed, man. Because when we watch Brian Habana and Frederick Peterson or whatever, all those guys, they're fast, they're big, they're strong. Yeah. Would you have competed against them?
Definitely. I mean, I was in the same team as most of these guys. I think Brian Habana had left for the Stormers, so I'm highly competitive, and I do rank myself in the same category as they do. Excuse me tooting my own horn.
You remind me of a New Zealand player who used to play back when we were watching rugby after school. A guy called Jonah Lomu. Yes. Do you remember that name?
I remember Jonah Lomu.
My brother was like a bus.
He was a bus. My brother put in, we still had VCRs back then, no DVDs.
Yeah, that's our time.
He brought back a tape, and we watched it, and I was like, I want to be like this guy. I can be like this guy. I wanted so bad. And every day I would eat a lot of food just to get up to the same weight and run, and I just wanted to take that blueprint of success that he had and put it into mine. Yeah.
Peter saying, with all the muscles and biceps, do you get ladies, socialites stalking you?
Well, that comes with the territory, but as I said, these things they're worldly things, and if you embrace this, you forget what actually brought that or attracted that, and you take your attention away from that, it all falls away.
Yeah. Mzee Show, he says, great contrast between yesterday's show and today. Great observation, Mzee. Yesterday was called politics. This is human interest. Okay? All right. Hassoni Yosa says, Adongo is a good example of how successful people need to live to inspire the society. At 24 years old, I mean, this is a huge responsibility on your shoulders.
Yeah, it's a huge responsibility. As I said, I'm the first person from Kenya to play in the National Football League. And I was the first person from Kenya to play in the Super Rugby for the Sharks and the Bulls and the Kings, and to win a championship in New Zealand. So, I'm a maverick and a trailblazer and a pioneer in that. And as I said, I'm not selfish. I want to share my success with the other guy who's looking at me and saying, I want to be like you. I just want to be the same way you are, carry myself the same way you do. And the better I do, the more his opportunity and the more his chance of success, because it just gets easier.
Yeah, you're wise beyond your years, you know that. Wise. I got to read this Kavoy Minor tweet again. She's been stalking you all hour, so let me read another one. He is chasing greatness. I'm so inspired. Tomorrow, I'm out of bed at 5:30, jogging. Here I come.
As I said, consistency. You can do that. You have to be consistent.
What's the most challenging thing about what you do, Daniel?
The most challenging thing is, motivating myself to do it every day. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not something that you want to do 365 days a year. Sometimes you need to, you need downtime. I said you need to find motivation. You need to find your why. As soon as you find your why, why you're doing this, then it becomes easier. And then, practice and all this stuff, you enjoy it and you love it.
Yeah. Shizler saying, what if you didn't have a talent? Can you be my mentor? In other words, people out there who don't have talent, don't think they have the kind of talent you have.
What I'm saying is, there's no one in this earth that is not good at anything. You just need to find what you're good at. Everybody has a gift. Everybody has a talent.
Joseph, ask Adongo where he was born. I would like to have a big chest like him. What am I supposed to do? Where were you born?
I was born here in Nairobi.
Mm-hmm. But you spent some time in London with family, right?
Yeah. We lived there for 4 years.
Yeah.
So it was a different experience, and then we came back.
Yeah. Big chest.
Push-ups, a lot of bench press.
A lot of bench press.
Just a lot of working out. Yeah.
Ken Carrero says, Daniel for president.
Wow.
Would you ever consider that? Would you go that route one day? You never know, right?
You never know. You never know. We should be asking you that, Jeff.
Oh my. We have a president already.
Very good answer.
You like that?
I like that.
Evans Ochieng, one word, inspired. Big up, Daniel Adongo. In case you need a wife, come get my sister. Dowry less.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Kenyans, man. Kenyans are speaking their minds. Bottom line, say something to the young people who are young, people who are feeling they cannot go forward, people who are feeling that there is no hope for them, they'll never make it to where you've made it, let alone the road you have traveled.
Yeah.
What do you tell them? What kind of inspiration do you give them?
First of all, you need to change your value systems. You know, some of us value sleep more than we do the grind, more than we do working. Some of us value being consumers more than we do wanting to produce. You know, once you change that, then everything else changes. You know, like Bruce Lee said, you know, knowing is not enough, you must do. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Being willing is not enough, we must do. So get out of your beds, find out what you're good at, and go and do it and pursue it every day.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be hard. Trust me. I'm not here just because, you know, everything just fell in place and the moon aligned and the stars aligned. It's a lot of hard work, and I'm still working hard every day.
Yeah. And when people in Indianapolis, Indiana, see this name, they see Adongo, but they say, "Hey, man, you come from the same place the president comes from."
I hope they do say that.
Do they know you're from Kenya? Do you let them know?
I let them know every day. They know I'm from Kenya. They know I'm from Nairobi. They know that I'm representing our flag and flying it high.
And those folks who found you, are you telling them there could be others out there? There are others?
Exactly. I do that, you know, on a daily basis. You know, as I said, through my not through my words, but through my actions. I let that be the bearing and lead them here.
Daniel Adongo, congratulations, brother. That's a big hand, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, sir.
Look at that bicep. Let's have a close up of that. My goodness.
Thanks for having me.
Good one, man. Good luck. You're a great inspiration to the youth, man.
Thank
Next
you very
generation.
much. Thank you.
Keep it up.
I will.
We'll be watching you this season.
Thank you very much.
We'll be cheering all the way from Nairobi, Kenya.
That's it.
My man. Daniel Adongo, 24 years old, 6'5" 3/4", 270 pounds, pure muscle, brawn, and brains. He can quote everyone from Rudyard Kipling to Mahatma Gandhi. Smart kid. He's done well, representing. And yes, he is all Kenyan. Complete the phrase. Thanks so much for watching. What a guest, what a show, what a week it's been. Next week, new week, new topic, new guests. Keep watching us right here on Kenya's television network. In the meantime, the news continues with Ben Kitili, finally on the news desk, Ben after tweeting, and Nancy Kachungira. Oh, by the way, from next week, please note, Jeff Koinange Live goes back to its regular time, 10 p.m. Please note, do not watch us at 7:45 from next week. We'll be on from 10 p.m. That way, we can go a little longer and have a lot more fun with people like Dan Adongo. The interpreter for all the closed caption is Maresha Awiti. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Good night. Good luck. Oh, man.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.